Oh, yeah. We got a green monster.
Got a good white knight.
Watch out, nearby drywall.
Might be some domestic violence happening soon.
Yeah. No, so driving to California, I drove the first 7.5 hours, and Braden is going to do the final 2.5. We have the camera precariously propped up on the dash, and Braden's going to drive carefully and not dump it. It's the first time he's ever driven my truck. So we did a Q&A for the drive. I haven't looked at any of these yet. I was hoping they would be good questions related to World's Strongest Man.
Press X for doubt.
Yeah. Okay. See, how many we got here? Oh my God, Alec.
How many?
Look at this.
Oh,
we
geez.
have probably like 150.
You got a good video. Let's go.
Okay. Let's do it. I'm going to start at the beginning. Favorite color?
Come on, man.
Dude. I like
Start.
I don't know.
What are these Tinder
Like
questions?
a dark red.
I'd enjoy me a good lavender.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Who's winning? You, Ginger, Power, Heart. We got to make the final first.
We gotta win the heats.
Yeah, we'll do a predictions video on Friday night, hopefully including me. What's your favorite tricep-focused accessory? Recently, it's been the flywheel because my triceps hurt, and it seems that the flywheel is the only thing that I can, do without pain.
Yeah.
I don't know. Alec, you probably don't have tricep accessories.
I don't believe in triceps. It's against my religion.
No, pressing is done with the quads and the quads only.
That's right.
Yep. Why are you doing Giants Live between World's Strongest Man and Strongest Man on Earth? Thought you were only doing the Big Four. Why are we doing it, Alec?
Well, we'll find out. It's one of those things where the events, which are not shared yet, so we won't divulge them yet, really don't interfere with any sort of training.
Yeah.
So, assuming we come out of Worlds feeling pretty healthy, then it probably is okay to do the show, but that has to still be reassessed after Worlds.
Yeah, like I need to know that body's 100% leading into the push to Strongest Man on Earth. And Worlds is going to be 10 events over 4 days. So we could take a toll. So if a toll is taken, might not be going to Giants, but I really want to. And honestly, the reason we strayed off the Big Four only conversation is a lot of the guys just said you got to do at least one. Giants is its own cool thing. Alec has coached at Giants before, and I just want to go. I want to do one, and my parents want to go to Royal Albert Hall. So yeah. Most favorite and least favorite event for World's Strongest Man 2025?
I mean, least favorite's pretty obvious.
I'm asking you.
For me?
Yeah.
If we do the whole show, I would say the bag throw for distance.
Is your least favorite?
Yeah, I mean, if we're trying to determine who the strongest man on the planet is by flicking bags over a fence, that's kind of lame in my opinion. Most favorite, I really like that Zercher into arm of arm. It's a clever event. It's fun.
I wish it was heavier.
Yeah.
But who knows? It could be
Yeah.
some crazy giant thing built by Kanak, and it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
But 440 on surface level doesn't seem heavy enough.
No, I mean, there are lightweight women's shows doing 440 on the front Zercher.
Yeah. Because Rainier, I think we built up to 720
Yeah.
as the heaviest Zercher, and Jasper was sprinting.
And that was basically an EMOM.
Yeah, really. Okay, my least favorite. I don't like the Hercules hold.
Yeah, that's fun.
Actually, individually excited to do one because I've never done one.
Right.
But I don't like that the one of basically 6 events deciding who the strongest in the world is that.
Right.
If
If it was just 10 straight events, you probably
yeah,
wouldn't care.
across 10 straight events, I like a Hercules hold. But and then my favorite, I'm actually really excited about Stones of the World and the Sandbag Medley.
That was cool events.
They're challenging in their own way. Like, honestly, just personal challenge for me. I need to do well in both. And I know I can. It's just to, kind of prove it. Yeah. How is your cough? Well, I've made it through 10 minutes of this video, and I have not coughed.
Yeah.
No, we're actually, we had a completely normal training session, 2 or 3 normal training sessions with basically no coughing. Oh, tough corner, Braden.
I got it.
The camera held on. Okay, cool. Cough's completely gone. Maybe a little raspy if I do. I've noticed if I have like a long phone conversation, I'm a little raspy, but that's it. So we're basically 100%. Cardio felt good in those final tune-up sessions. We've been hitting the bike hard when I'm at the gym. So I'm completely confident that if I did events today, I'd be fine. Pablo, they said Pablo, not Pablo.
Okay.
Pablo Nekaneski,
Yep.
return, ?
Well, as of today, he's back in the hospital.
Oh no.
For what, I don't know.
I saw that. I just didn't hit translate on his post.
I didn't either. I'm hoping it's just something minor and he's good to go. But he's one of the freakiest humans I've ever met. Genuinely.
Yeah.
I've met very few humans with joints that large.
Yep.
It was incredible.
And he's probably one of the few guys that I missed, and I never got to compete against. Obviously the big ones is like Brian and Eddie and those guys. But I want to see that guy and I want to compete against that guy. I just never got a chance to.
He's a very nice guy too.
How does the 600-pound behind the neck press compare to log press max? I mean, I don't really understand the question.
Do they feel similar in terms of execution?
No, I mean, especially because I jerk. They're just it's completely different. The dip and drive's different. The why they're hard is different. The prep that we'll do for each one is different. I think that my leg drive is probably the strongest it's ever been right now. And what's cool about doing months and months and months of behind the neck jerk is I've been doing the most overloaded version of dip and drive that I possibly can for months. So that's why my dip and drive is the strongest it's ever been. The strict side of my power output is not at its best, I'm sure. But I think doing the chest press and max log leading into Strongest Man on Earth, I think the intersection of those two peaks is probably going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are you recovered from that COVID cough? Yeah. Also, I did say the word COVID. I don't know that I had COVID. That doesn't.
Safe guess.
Safe guess. I didn't test or nothing. It's fine. We're good. How long do you think it would take Joe Kovacs to be competitive at the Arnold?
Joe Kovacs now? I mean, he's older now.
Yeah,
peak Joe Kovacs? A year.
Yeah, really.
Just a year.
If you caught him, an Olympic cycle and a half ago.
Right, 2016 Kovacs, he'd be ready in a year.
Yeah, and honestly, he has hit some of his best strength numbers in the last few years, but it's just you're asking a guy in the latter half of his 30s to take on all new skills.
Right.
And honestly, the combination of him and Ashley coaching him, I bet they could, if they just cared to do it, get him to be a competitive, good professional strongman. Could he be one of the top 10 in the world? You never know until you start doing this stuff.
I mean, I bet you, though, with a 3-month prep, he wins amateur nationals.
Yeah, Joe Kovacs, no doubt, just with a little bit of technical know-how from somebody that cares, he could go pro. Getting to that next tier, it might just be a little too late in the athletic runway. But honestly, probably one of the freakiest athletes in all sports across the board.
He's so cool.
Yeah, no, there's very few people I look up to. Actually, no, he's my overall favorite athlete of anyone across all sports. So getting to meet him at the Arnold was cool, and the fact that occasionally I'll get a random DM good job from that guy, that's a pretty crazy full circle moment for a former shitty D3 track guy. Best case and worst case scenario given a healthy performance. Well, it's pretty obvious. We'll tell you on Friday night.
Yeah. I mean, best case, second place in the whole show.
Yeah, no, that is totally possible to be on the podium. I don't think it's the set of events where I could sit here and be I'm going to win.
No, I mean, if they got rid of the Hercules hold and replaced it with a squat, you could win, but there's just too many events that are not something we're S tier at, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm going to have a challenge getting out of the groups, and I think my best case scenario coming out of the groups is getting out of the groups with maybe 6 points, maybe 5. I don't think I'll be the top, I'm not going to come out of the groups with 9 or 10 points.
No. Worst cases, we don't make the final.
Worst case, yeah, we don't make the final, and it's a possibility, but like, I'm fairly confident that I can do it. It's just, I'm actually excited because it challenges me in a way that I need to be challenged, because doing things like Strongest Man on Earth, the Arnold, North Americas, I've been challenged in a variety of ways, but this is all a couple new challenges all bundled in one show. So I'm excited about it. How does it feel to be objectively top 5 in the world?
Top 3.
Well, and then he said, personally, I say top 3.
Okay.
Good, but it comes with a different sense of pressure. Like, it's different. Like, there's something kind of nice of being the new guy. You're like, oh, I'm nervous for this show, but it's like nobody thinks you're going to do good, and then it's really cool when you do good, but then it's like, now you're the top guy showing up. I think the first time I felt that kind of nervousness was America's this last year, and then for sure at the Arnold. That was the first big show where people were like, Lucas can win, and I was like, I think so too, but it's scary. But yeah, it's come along with a lot of really, really cool things. I'm excited, man. It's been cool. Are you going to give us the first 500-pound axle?
Possible.
I want to. I just need a relevant reason to do it. And I don't know when I'm going to get that. I for sure want all 3 overhead records. In the axle, the number I want is 500. In dumbbell, I want a bodyweight circus dumbbell, which is a couple ways to attack that goal. Quit being so heavy. But at some point in my career, I'd love to get a bodyweight circus dumbbell, which inevitably would come with the world record, and then the log, which the log is the one that this year I think I have a chance to go after. It just, and on the day, does it make sense to do it? Favorite way to pass time on a long road trip? I just drove. I don't know. What have we been doing?
Listening to Brother Ali.
Yeah.
Some YouTube.
Yeah.
Talk about trees.
Yeah, we had a long conversation about the redwoods, and I spit sunflower seeds. This video is not as entertaining as you probably thought it was going to be. Okay, what would be different? I'm paraphrasing. What would be different if you were to prep me for a max dumbbell in a peak, as opposed to like a max log, axle, or jerk?
Oh, that's a good question. So when it comes to things like log and axle, the paradigm in which you have to view the training is going to be predominantly focused on strength speed, which is its own parameters of movement quality. Training within strength speeds has its own maximal recoverable volume limit. That's different than a traditional max effort lift, something you think like a squat or a deadlift. So when we talk about the dumbbell, it is even further down the spectrum of strength speed. Caveat with the dumbbell being, because it's so contralateral loading, meaning across the body, it has its unique fatigue ratios that you have to take into consideration. So the volume that you could or would want to do is basically cut in half, because most humans' QLs can't support the loads required on a consistent basis for that normal type of training. So ultimately, you actually have to focus on is more of a third week hit of something that expresses the work that you're building predominantly on week 1, because on that second week you could take it off entirely, or you train the other arm. And training the other arm, it still keeps the athlete working on the skill and brings up a weakness, but you essentially have to cut off that volume in half and then be clever in the times in which you choose to express the work being done.
And I think understanding that, like with dumbbell, you're very likely gonna that the volume has a hard ceiling because it's loaded across the body. We didn't really find that until it got heavy. Like when you're training dumbbell light, and also most people who train dumbbell light can just do both arms at a decent amount of reps, but like the heavier it's gotten, I've noticed that like the QL on that side will be blown up and ruin other training much quicker as the loads have gotten heavier. I think you'll have better answers for this than me. What are you guys' favorite and most hated video games?
Oh,
Whether it's an individual game or a franchise.
okay. Favorite, I basically have to say the entirety of the Warcraft series, from the RTS to World of Warcraft.
Okay.
It's really hard to say that game isn't basically perfection. And yeah, you can make gripes and complaints about modern day World of Warcraft and how they kind of dumb down the game, but I mean, 3 million active players, go fuck yourself. That shit's incredible. It's just, in the lore alone, like, you could spend hundreds of hours reading about Arthas, the king of the undead, and, you know, the Queen of Blades and all that stuff. Like, I love that shit.
Least favorite.
Least favorite.
That's hard because it's just you don't play them.
Yeah, it's pretty subjective too.
Or I guess what's the worst game that you've finished?
Yeah, I guess, and I'm,
let
yeah,
down by a game.
Most
yeah,
let down.
and I'm trying to think of like what's popular that I think is just whack. What would I say?
Popular that I think is whack. PUBG.
Yeah, PUBG's kind
I
of
hated
ass.
it. I hated it.
Oh, you know what?
I never enjoyed it, and it's funny.
RuneScape is fucking ass.
It's weird for me to not like PUBG because I liked Fortnite for a time,
Right.
and I really have liked Warzone for like 5 years.
You know what PUBG and RuneScape have in common? They're,
Okay.
they're basically people who eat crayons and can't appreciate the nuances of like Call of Duty or World of Warcraft. Like, if you enjoy markers in your nose, you probably really enjoy PUBG.
Okay.
But the fact
And
PUBG
RuneScape.
was like
That's
the
what I'd
biggest
say.
game played ever at the time.
It was.
59 million
It was
active users.
Totally.
It was
Totally.
huge, and then
But
Fortnite
there's also,
came out.
you know, there's a lot of dumb people out there, you know?
Was it? 'Cause it predated Fortnite, right? It was just before Fortnite.
Yeah, yeah. It was
When PUBG
before
was at its
Fortnite.
biggest.
I think PUBG was
Yeah.
at its biggest after Fortnite came out.
Oh.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought. Are
Yeah.
you
People
sure?
jumped
I-
from H1Z1
Because I remember.
Oh
the
yeah,
first
no.
battle
You're
royale.
correct.
when Fortnite was out.
Weren't
I would-
people
to
playing?
PUBG.
Weren't people playing PUBG on like PSPs?
No.
Am I
not
wrong
the-
on that?
PUBG came out in
See, we're gonna get roasted in the comments by
That's
fine.
someone that actually knows.
PUBG
Yeah.
came out in 2015.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, if you do know, you should be ashamed of yourself, and I
So-
want you to know that.
Well,
I like
to
PUBG.
round out this conversation in a productive way, my favorite game of all time is Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, it's so
It's
good.
it's
Yeah.
one of 2 games that I've ever finished all of the achievements on.
You went platinum, right?
Yeah, 100%. I did Ghost of Tsushima and then Batman Arkham Asylum. I did everything as well.
Fantastic series.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I can't play a large format free roam like story mode game like that because I get obsessed and I literally lose my life for
Dude,
a
I
month.
bought the Oblivion remastered.
No, see,
you
I-
gotta do it.
There's so many games that
So
people will
good.
recommend and I just won't do it. I'll avoid it because I have no self-control.
Word.
I finished everything in Ghost of Tsushima in like 2 months.
Dude, I still play World of Warcraft subscription, even though I haven't touched it in 2 years, because
Yeah.
a part of me still wants to get into it one day. Waste money.
Ooh, have your predictions changed since groups came out?
No, I think people are going to be really surprised what you could do against those guys. Because let's be honest, that group was designed with a purpose in mind. But at least in my opinion. But
Well, no, I'm not even saying for myself. Like just overall, because I think in one of our videos we did our projected top 10. Well, that might have been after the groups were announced.
No,
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
We did it before.
Honestly,
one person's not going to make it that I thought would. Just one.
I
Bryce.
think. Oh, he's gonna have a hard time.
I don't think Bryce will make it.
I think he's in a similar boat to me. Is that like he's strong, but if you're in a group of 4 guys that are definitely faster than you,
It's a problem.
you're in a tough boat for this weekend. So, yeah, I think Bryce is gonna have a good solid debut, and
If anything.
but also it's one of those things where I could see like 23 out of 25 guys making the final. I see the scenario of how it would occur.
This is a very hard show to predict.
It is, and we're probably going to be proven wrong in a couple areas. Would Jesus Olivares be a good strongman?
No.
No.
His body fat is way too high and his hands are stumpy.
Yeah,
And I mean that with all due respect. But
like he's incredible at what he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think he'd ever have the grip required.
No.
He's short, which as the shortest guy on most rosters, that's not a complete limiting factor. But unless there's this freaky explosive athletic side of him
Like a Lala.
that he just doesn't show,
Right.
I don't think like, oh, I have a 1,000-pound squat. That means I can do all these other things. Or maybe even quite the opposite. I think there is this threshold where you've gotten so ultra specific
Yeah.
at one thing that you're actually so strong that you could hurt yourself if you enter other things without skill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's like 4 in a row of like, do you see myself making the final?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah.
So, what are your go-to meals and how do they differ?
Same shit every day, man.
Yeah, no, diet doesn't change a ton from show to show. No, I wouldn't say it's different from prep to prep. Yeah, no, I don't think there'd be any reason for
Yeah,
that.
you just do rice and chicken, rice and beef.
Rice and beef. What state are you from? We're from Washington. So going to Sacramento is
You're
about
from
a
Washington.
10.5 hour drive. I am from Washington. Alex from New York. Alice is from England.
Jolly old England. Yeah.
England and lives in Canada now. And Braden is also from Washington. Well, okay. There's no context on this question. They said tempo overhead press or paused overhead press. I think a better way to articulate that is use case for each one in programming.
Right. Well, tempo, I'd imagine you're referring to the eccentric.
Like a tempo dip.
Oh, a tempo dip. Oh, I see. Well, you could use those two as a progression, right? So if you're someone who's still learning dip and drive mechanics, I would start with a tempo, because ultimately moving slow through something is going to force you, well, in theory at least, force you to hit the positions correctly, because then you have to execute and hit the lift. It's also going to reduce the total amount of weight that you're going to use. And then in the following blocks, you can then do pauses. Because of the pauses, the weight can be increased with a pause. And by that time, you've ingrained, neurologically speaking, the work that you did with the tempo. And then the following block, you go to standard. Mm-hmm. So I just do those as progressions or regressions.
Yeah. And then like a long-term usage of pauses, they're useful in like complexes, or if it's your first block back to something, making a lift self-limiting by just, it increases the challenge of the lift in another way other than adding volume or adding weight. Yeah. And basically every session, some of my warm-ups will be pause dips just to like feel positions and just groove in that pattern. What is your favorite event to watch but hate to train for?
That's a fun question.
Ooh, what do I hate to train for?
Conan's
That's what I was
weird.
gonna say, yeah.
Yeah. I actually love watching a good Husafel carry too.
Yeah.
And I hate training Hus. And honestly, I thought it was a really, really good event for me, and then America's went bad. Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that I hate training.
There's not much that you hate training.
There's certain things that I hate training because it's hard to set up.
Right.
Like, it's just a lot of setup. Like, honestly, I hate training press ladders.
Right.
I actually enjoy when I do the set. I hate everything else about training it because you have to warm up every individual part, set up every individual part, and very oftentimes, by the time you're done, you do like 2 comp runs or 1, and then you're done. Like it's like this
90 minutes of setup.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. How did you find inner peace?
We're not there yet.
We have not.
I mean, he's a professional strongman. That is a clear-cut sign that he's not happy inside.
No, not at all. What are some tips for getting better at circus dumbbell? Go to my YouTube. I actually this was one of the first videos I made. I have a deep dive technique tips video on circus dumbbell.
It's a good video.
It is also, yeah, you might remember.
I might.
It's fine. Go find it. It's also linked in my stories on Instagram. I have a story highlight for it. And if you scroll way, way back on my Instagram, there's actually back when I did technique tips on my Instagram, I have a different technical breakdown, which I also really like. I need to recycle that on my Instagram. It's way back though. Let's see here. Is it true that your middle name is Lucas Hatton?
That's true. That is
Correct.
100% fact.
Correct. What is your goals this year? I want to keep the podium streak alive. I want to do that at the Big Four. I'll consider this year a success if we get to the end, body in one piece with a much better understanding of like what a regular Big Four full year schedule looks like, and like because that realistically that's the meat and potatoes of our year. and this is the first year doing it. So if we didn't learn anything from this year, we failed. I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, same. Very similar goals. Get to all the big fours, podium at all of them. Personally, my goal is to coach you to win Strongest Man on Earth this year.
Yeah.
That is the goal for me.
It
to
is.
try everything in my power to make that happen.
Yep. If you could pick 5 events for a show, which 5?
Max dumbbell, dumbbell ladder, dumbbell over bar.
Okay,
Squat.
let's see it from a different perspective. What would your favorite 5-event show be?
Yeah, sure. Well, first off, it's only 5 events, so it's pretty whack, but whatever. I would say squat for reps. I would say, oh man, the overhead. I'd probably go with a max Viking split jerks allowed.
You just want to see that event.
I do. I want to see it. I haven't seen it. I would enjoy an arm over arm into ridiculously heavy singles fingers, like the third one being nearly impossible to hit.
Okay.
Stone over bar series, but the bar is high enough to where everyone has to shoulder and the weight gets real heavy.
Okay.
And that 5th event, I would probably say, I really enjoy. Oh, you know what would be cool? So a weird medley where let's say you run a yoke 50 feet, you hit something similar to like a Titan's turntable or Wheel of Pain for one rotation, bring that yoke back down 50 feet, hit another rotation until you can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a lot.
Yeah.
I just want, honestly, I want a max squat. I want, in a 5-event show, I'd like a multi-implement press ladder, stone to shoulder, some kind of moving medley that involves 2 or 3 different things.
Yeah.
And what else do I like? Yeah, I don't know. Nothing really comes to mind.
Natural stones are cool.
Natural stones, yeah, stone to shoulder and natural stones. Favorite music artist, band, and context for said selection. Dude, that's hard. That's so broad. Lizzo, because Lizzo gained me 65,000 Instagram followers.
She's a nice lady.
Nice woman. Yeah, nothing's like a all-time life standout artist, I can do that with like movies. I can't do it with music.
It's genuinely just too much good music.
There's too much good music, and then like moods and like phase of life, and
I think people would be surprised of your music library.
yeah,
Like the type of music you listen to.
yeah.
Pretty broad.
Or it's like, am I driving? Am I doing work at my desk? Like, And also, I worked security, so like there's certain genres of music that I actually only appreciate from the view of front of stage, just because I like the energy of the crowd. I would never go to that show, but working the show, I enjoy it. That's how I feel about basically anything electronic, like raves. I want nothing to do with it, but I enjoy the energy from the perspective of working the show. So, yeah, weird variety in my music. Not a question. Just want to thank Alec for taking the time to talk shop yesterday with my wife and I.
Oh, yeah. That was a really nice gentleman. Came by the gym. They were on their honeymoon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They came by the gym. They're on the honeymoon. He's a real big Strongman fan.
Nice.
Nice guy.
What would you recommend as far as training while recovering from a hip injury? And then it says bench, LOL.
See a physical therapist, brother.
Yeah, you got to see a PT. We are not PTs.
But I would say continue to train.
Yes. Like the general rule of thumb is find the hardest stuff you can do well that pain is less than like a 2 or 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
And then progress that over time or regress it as needed. And you got to maybe some input from a PT or PT and a strength and conditioning coach can give you the inspiration needed. Because sometimes you got to get real creative when you've regressed really far.
But you can train.
Yeah, there's something you can do. All the comments like this are always dudes. How do you get as handsome as you? Thank you, Mark Milker.
Excess calories and lifting weights.
Yeah, calorie surplus for 15 years.
Yeah.
Will you ever attempt 605 plus on the jerk?
If it's in another show, maybe.
If it's I mean, we're doing it on Sunday. Hopefully,
I mean, no one's gonna push.
we're not going to do that on Sunday. Okay, if I'm in like ninth.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll ask Colin. Hey man, can we full
Yeah,
send?
if I'm in like ninth,
yeah,
I'm going to jerk 280.
yeah.
If I'm anywhere close to the podium, we're not doing that. That'd be really silly. But honestly, for personal point of pride, I want the heaviest press ever. But there's really probably never going to be a good reason to do it other than pride. Who is the most passenger princess in the group?
I mean, obviously.
I mean, Alice did the whole time I'm driving. She's just giving me stuff.
It's true. She's a
I
nice
was
lady.
fed for like 7.5 hours.
I just talk shit.
And I'll just be. Oh, I can't even reach. That's embarrassing. I just tried to reach down for a water bottle. I couldn't reach it. But I'll just be driving and she'll just be like, hold the water bottle up because I don't drink water. So no. She does have a blanket that's regularly stored in the car. So, passenger princess. There's so much about food on here. What's your favorite comp day food? What's your post-workout food?
It's rice chicken.
Do I just seem like an expert on food? Oh, there's the clip. That's the opening clip, right? Oh, if you had Alex hair, what hairstyle would you rock?
Probably be pretty happy.
I'd be the craziest looking person ever. Honestly, you know what I like? It's not the same hair, but there's these pictures of my dad in the 70s when he played football.
Dude, me and your dad have the same hair.
Yeah, no. It's like, and my mom's like, which one of these guys is your dad? And there's a dude, it's his like football team, and he's kneeling down in the front. Everyone else is standing. He's kneeling in the front row in like shorts, and then has like big glasses, a little beard, and a fro. He's the white dude with a huge fro.
Huge fro.
And that was my dad. And I honestly have naturally curly hair, but it's just gone. I did have a fro as a little kid, and I think my mom still, when she envisions me, I still have the curly blondish hair, and it hasn't been that ever, like basically since I was 5. So she still thinks I should grow my hair back, even though my hairline's in the middle of my head. Tips on improving ankle and hip mobility.
Well, those things that coincide. If you usually have hip impingements, usually starting either below or usually below the knee or above the knee, right? So, you do easy things like banded ankle rocks to open up that ball and socket joint there. And then from there, you do similar things with bands on the hip. It could be something as simple as a distraction squat where you have a band pulling you outward, keeping your legs in, and just go through regular ranges of motions. You don't have to get too crazy. Just do things like that repeatedly.
Yeah.
And you might sit down a lot. Just consider doing that less.
And like, it's not just like, I think people think of stretching and mobility as a separate thing from their training. And it's like, select accessories that force you into bigger ranges of motion. Like that could be, for the hips, it could be a Bulgarian split squat where your front foot is slightly elevated and you have to push the range of motion on that front hip and back hip. It could, the weighted calf raise machine, in addition to things like the banded ankle rocks, like you need to both mobilize and strengthen new ranges of motion. And you're already doing a bunch of work with your accessories. Use it for your mobilization. What is the best way to stay on top of Lucas's World's Strongest Man results without a live stream? Braden is going to post as much as he is legally allowed to, as fast as he is legally allowed to. He has the camera equipment. He has the switchboard. He has the Starlink. He's going to be doing as much as he's allowed to do. Honestly, if you want to see more than I'm allowed to post, find my mom on Facebook. No, don't do that. Please don't. She won't add you back. But my mom doesn't care about the rules because she's a 70-year-old woman that uses Facebook, so there's no rules for her.
It has to still record everything, even though I'm there.
That is a fun element. I hired Braden and paid for Braden to come to every event for the last 2 years, but my mom still has shaky cell phone video of every event I've ever done, and she just won't. I tell her to just enjoy it, and let Braden film, but she loves to do it too. Ooh, which events are you winning in the heats in your group? Honestly, I think the only event that I don't have a chance of winning is the throw.
Yeah.
There is a scenario on the other 4 where it could happen. It's some easier than others. I think the press and the stones are almost a need to win. And the deadlift, I want to. I think I can. I think we're kind of winding down. Let me see if I can find anything else. Yeah, what's your favorite teriyaki joint? What's the best sandwich?
You're
Dude,
the food guy now.
food guy. And then the rest of these are about Axel World Record.
What are you gonna do if it rains?
What am I going to do if it rains at the show?
Yeah.
Nobody in this car packed for rain.
No.
And it is dumping rain this entire drive. I'm hoping in this last 140 miles that we find the warm, sunny California. Or we're going to go buy some sweatshirts and make it happen. And if it does rain, I hope it happens during the other guys going on grip-related events. Okay, I'm going to just do a quick scroll and then we'll shut it down. How common is it for strongman competitors to exaggerate their height?
All of them.
All of them, dude.
All of them. No one's
Extremely. You know how many guys are 6'1" that are listed at 6'1" that are my height or shorter?
Right. It's crazy.
I am barely 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I'll get the measuring tape out. It's strange that people want to exaggerate something that is observable and measurable.
Yeah.
I feel like Thor and Brian don't.
They don't.
They don't
Because they don't
have
have
I
to.
know they don't.
Thor and Brian are gigantic.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, like Eddie being 6'2". No, he's not. He's just not. Bobby's not 6'1". I love you, Bobby, but you're my height. Yeah, no, it is strange. And then they like to, the promoters also like to go the other direction with the guys. The narrative that they've created is that they're the small guy.
Right.
I'm like, Kevin Ferris is like 6'2", 300
yeah,
pounds.
Kevin Ferris is bigger than you.
Yeah, like he's taller than me.
Height-wise,
Or like Novikov. He's like, he's so little. I'm like, he's not.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They like to like exaggerate down in the direction of promoters describing certain athletes. Or like old school Lalas, like he's so tiny. I'm like, dude, he's huge. Like he has to turn sideways to go through doors. Oh, did you remember Alex Booster Seat? Damn, dude.
It's always in the back. You can't ride in the front with the airbags.
Yeah. Are there any other somewhat obscure strength feats you'd like to go after the 600 jerk? I don't know. Is there anything?
10-foot broad jump.
10-foot broad jump.
10-foot
I don't
broad
think
jump.
that's in the cards.
Yeah.
I don't think we're adding 1.5 feet to my broad jump.
Maybe a Steinborn squat.
Like, why? Honestly, one of the biggest misses of my athletic career is that I've never dunked. I got to the point that I could dunk like a dodgeball or like kind of let a women's basketball roll in, but I never could dunk a men's ball. And I want to be able to do that.
All
Yeah.
you gotta do is lose 100 pounds.
If I lose 100 pounds, I may actually have the power to do it, but you know, we're not doing that anytime soon. What are you going to do after you win? I'm like, dude, we got to make the final first. Who would win in a fight, a gorilla or 100 Lucas clones? I don't know.
100 of you is winning.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think this question just comes down to how coordinated are the men involved. If they're cowards, the gorilla's going to win. But like if they coordinate at all, that's like how many fifth graders could you fight?
Right.
Like if they're just dumb individual fifth graders in a line, unlimited. Like once my hands break from throwing fists, but like it's the same thing with gorilla to us. If Alec retired tomorrow, next coach you gel with, that's one of your clients asked that.
Which one?
Chud Life.
Oh, you're
Tyler.
fired. You're fired.
Fired.
Tyler,
Shame
congrats,
on
you're
you,
fired.
Tyler.
I don't know, man. We've gotten so established in a system that I don't know.
I mean, you might just have to run it yourself.
Yeah, like I almost have enough data of blocks to be like, I roughly understand what you would write anyways. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be such a huge change. Like, 'cause like there's systems that are similar but different, and I don't know if I'd agree. And maybe, there's the argument, could you learn from someone from trying something new?
Sure.
You probably could. I just, I don't want to have to do that. I think we're going to keep, we're going to keep doing this. So, I think that's a wrap. I skipped a lot of questions. Gabby says driving is insane. Okay.
Thanks, Gab.
Thanks, Gabby. That's a wrap. Let us know if you have any questions. I think the first athlete meeting is tonight when we basically right after we get there. We timed it just about right. We'll keep you guys updated, and a lot of this week and this weekend is going to be Braden, potentially Alec talking to the camera. My involvement will be less and less as I get more into the lifting part of the weekend. So, let me know what questions you guys have.